Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 67 years old, a retired nurse, a mother, and a grandmother of 4. On the surface, her days are filled with all the ordinary joys you'd expect, tending her little garden, meeting friends for coffee, spending long afternoons with her grandchildren. But what Margaret doesn't tell anyone is what happens at night, when the house is quiet, the lights are low, and she's left alone with her thoughts. It's in those moments that Margaret reaches for something deeply personal, something that's become both a comfort and a question mark in her life: her own touch, her own sensuality, her own nighttime rituals of self-pleasure. Margaret has confided, only to her closest friends and in hushed tones, that she sometimes wonders, am I helping myself or hurting myself with this? Is it okay to continue? Should I feel guilty or grateful? She's not alone. Across countless conversations I've had with men and women over 60, this quiet uncertainty comes up again and again. And it's time we answer it, clearly, compassionately, and honestly. So today, we're going to talk about the truth behind nighttime masturbation after 60, the physical realities, the emotional undercurrents, the myths, the surprises, the science, and most importantly, what it really means for your health, your vitality, and your sense of self. This isn't a topic for whispers or blushing or embarrassment. It's a topic for bold, mature, thriving people like you, who are still curious, still evolving, still deeply alive. First, let's acknowledge something simple but profound. Nighttime is when our bodies and minds are meant to rest, to repair, to reset. But for many, it's also when loneliness sharpens, when stress bubbles up, when memories stir and longing rises. The quiet of the night opens a space where touch, even self-touch, can become a source of comfort, connection, even healing. But is it always beneficial? Or can it sometimes disturb the very rest we seek? Let's unpack that carefully. When you stimulate yourself at night, your body releases a beautiful blend of hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, that create a sense of pleasure, bonding, and relaxation. This chemical cascade can be deeply soothing, helping to lower stress, ease tension, and prepare the body for sleep. Many of my patients, like Margaret, report that a little nighttime pleasure helps them drift off more peacefully, quieting the mind and softening the body into rest. But here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone experiences it that way. For some, particularly those struggling with hormonal fluctuations or sleep disorders, nighttime stimulation can actually rev up the nervous system, making it harder to fall asleep. It depends on how your body processes arousal, on your personal rhythms, on your emotional associations with touch and pleasure. I remember John, a 72-year-old gentleman who came to me frustrated and tired. He told me he'd been using masturbation as a sleep aid for years, but lately, he found himself feeling more restless after, his mind buzzing, his heart racing slightly. We explored his patterns, his health, his stress levels, and we realized something important. John wasn't just using masturbation for physical release, he was using it to escape emotional tension, to distract himself from worries that needed attention in the light of day. And that emotional undercurrent was actually stirring him up more than calming him down. This is one of the hidden truths about nighttime masturbation. It's not just about the act itself, but about the emotional energy behind it. Are you touching yourself out of love, out of care, out of a desire for connection and pleasure? Or are you reaching for it as a way to avoid feelings you don't want to face? The body knows the difference. The nervous system knows the difference. And that's why the same action can have such different effects from person to person, or even from night to night. But let me reassure you of one thing right away. Masturbation is not harmful to your health, even at night, unless it's disrupting your sleep, causing you distress, or interfering with your daily well-being. It's a natural, healthy part of human life, a way of nurturing your body, maintaining sexual health, and keeping your sense of sensuality alive. The idea that masturbation depletes you, drains your energy, or weakens you is an old myth, one that has no grounding in modern science. In fact, when approached with mindfulness and balance, self-pleasure can be a gentle, supportive part of your nighttime routine. I once spoke with Diane, a 70-year-old widow who had spent years feeling guilty about her nighttime habits. She grew up in a household where sexuality was never discussed, where pleasure was something secretive, even shameful. It wasn't until she began opening up to friends and, eventually, to me, that Diane realized she was carrying unnecessary guilt. When she reframed her nighttime self-touch as an act of care rather than an act of indulgence, everything shifted. She began sleeping better, feeling more relaxed, and most importantly, feeling more connected to herself. That emotional connection is what I want you to hold on to as we continue. Because the real heart of this conversation is not just about whether nighttime masturbation is good or bad for you. It's about how you relate to your own body, your own needs, your own rhythms. Are you approaching yourself with kindness? With curiosity? With respect? Or are you bringing judgment, anxiety, or avoidance into the most intimate parts of your life? As we move into the next part of our conversation, we're going to look deeper into the science, the psychology, and the subtle ways nighttime masturbation can shape not just your sleep, but your sense of self, your confidence, and your vitality as you age. We'll explore the delicate dance between arousal and rest, the hormonal patterns that shift with age, and the gentle, profound ways you can tune into your body's wisdom. So stay with me. Take a deep breath, soften your shoulders, and let yourself settle into this space of exploration and learning. You are not here to be judged or corrected. You are here to be supported, encouraged, and reminded of the beautiful truth that you are still a vibrant, sensual being, capable of joy, connection, and renewal, even, and especially, in the quiet hours of the night. In the next part, we'll explore the hidden patterns that might be affecting you without you even realizing it, and I'll share insights that can help you create a more harmonious relationship with your body, your pleasure, and your rest. So meet me there, and together, we'll continue unfolding the truth about nighttime masturbation after 60, a truth that just might surprise you, empower you, and bring a little more light into your life. Welcome back, my friend. I'm so grateful you're still here with me, ready to continue this tender, eye-opening conversation. You've already taken a courageous step just by being willing to explore this topic with openness and curiosity. And now, as we move deeper, I want you to know you're not alone. So many seniors quietly wonder about the very things we're talking about today, but few have the chance to sit down with a trusted guide and really unpack the layers. So take a deep breath, let yourself settle in, and let's continue this journey together, heart to heart. When we left off, we were beginning to explore the subtle ways nighttime masturbation shapes more than just sleep. It touches your sense of self, your confidence, your vitality. But here's something many people don't realize. As we age, the hormonal landscape of the body shifts, sometimes dramatically. For men, testosterone gradually declines. For women, estrogen and progesterone levels drop after menopause. These changes don't just affect your sexual drive or physical sensations. They also impact your emotional rhythms, your energy levels, even the way your body responds to stimulation. You might have noticed, for example, that what once worked for you in your 30s or 40s now feels different. Maybe arousal takes a little longer, maybe the sensations are less intense, maybe you find yourself feeling more emotionally tender afterward. This is completely normal. Your body is evolving, and with it, your experience of pleasure is evolving too. And here's the beautiful truth. When you embrace these changes instead of fighting them, you open the door to a new kind of intimacy with yourself, one marked not by urgency, but by presence, not by performance, but by connection. I remember speaking with Alan, a 74-year-old gentleman who came to me feeling frustrated and a bit ashamed. He told me, "I used to be able to pleasure myself quickly and fall right asleep, but now it takes so long, and sometimes I just give up. I feel like my body is betraying me." Alan's story is so common, the sense of betrayal, of loss, of slipping away from the vitality we once knew. But what Alan and I worked on together was reframing his experience, helping him see that his body wasn't betraying him, it was inviting him into a slower, more mindful relationship with pleasure. We talked about how arousal at this stage of life often needs more time, more tenderness, more space. That instead of rushing through the experience to chase a quick release, he could explore the sensations, savor the journey, let go of the old expectations and meet his body where it was today. And do you know what happened? Alan discovered that when he approached his nighttime self-pleasure with patience and curiosity, not only did he feel more satisfied physically, but he also began sleeping better, feeling calmer, and even feeling more connected to his sense of masculinity and worth. This is the hidden power of mindful nighttime masturbation. It becomes a practice not just of physical release, but of emotional healing, of self-discovery, of gentle acceptance. And that's something many people overlook. They focus only on the surface. Does it help me sleep or does it wake me up? Does it drain me or does it relax me? But underneath those questions is a deeper one. How am I relating to myself in these quiet, vulnerable moments? For some, nighttime self-pleasure becomes a ritual of comfort, a way to soothe loneliness, to reclaim a sense of touch and connection in a world that sometimes feels distant or indifferent. For others, it can become a habit of avoidance, a way to push away feelings of sadness, anxiety, or regret without truly addressing them. Neither is inherently right or wrong, but both deserve your awareness. Because the more conscious you become of why you're reaching for pleasure, the more you can align it with what truly nourishes you. Let's bring in a little light science here, gently woven into our conversation. You see, the nervous system has two main branches, the sympathetic, which activates us for action and arousal, and the parasympathetic, which soothes us into rest and recovery. During sexual stimulation, the sympathetic system ramps up, heart rate increases, blood pressure rises, breathing quickens. After orgasm, the parasympathetic system takes over, releasing a wave of relaxation, slowing the heart, calming the mind. This natural cycle is part of why masturbation can help many people fall asleep. It mirrors the body's own rhythms of activation and rest. But here's the key. If you approach stimulation with tension, with anxiety, or with emotional turmoil, the body can get stuck in the sympathetic state, leaving you wired rather than relaxed. That's why some people, like John whom we talked about earlier, find themselves restless after nighttime pleasure. It's not the act itself that's the problem. It's the emotional and physiological state you bring into it. So what can you do? You can start by creating a calm, supportive environment for yourself. Dim the lights, slow your breathing, release any expectations or pressure. Allow the experience to unfold naturally, without rushing or forcing. Treat it as an act of self-care, not a task to accomplish. And if you notice old feelings surfacing, sadness, guilt, frustration, meet them with compassion. Let them flow through you without judgment, knowing that you are doing something deeply human, deeply tender, deeply valid. I want to share the story of Helen, a 69-year-old woman who had spent most of her life ignoring her own pleasure. She had been raised in a strict household, married young, and after her husband passed, she focused all her energy on her children and grandchildren. It wasn't until she joined a women's support group that Helen began to explore her own desires, her own needs, her own right to pleasure. She came to me one day, glowing with excitement, and said, "I can't believe I've waited this long to give myself permission." For Helen, nighttime masturbation became a quiet celebration of her aliveness, a way to honor her body and her spirit in the privacy of her own home. She found that it helped her sleep, yes, but even more importantly, it helped her feel whole. This is the gift I want you to claim for yourself, not just better sleep or a relaxed body, but a sense of wholeness, of belonging to yourself, of embracing your sensuality as a lifelong birthright. Aging is not a shutting down, it is an opening up, a peeling back of the unnecessary, a deepening into what truly matters. And your relationship with your own body, your own pleasure, is part of that sacred journey. In the next and final part of our conversation, we'll bring everything together, the science, the stories, the emotions, and I'll offer you practical, gentle steps to create a nighttime routine that truly supports your health, your rest, and your joy. We'll talk about how to listen to your body's signals, how to balance pleasure with rest, and how to release any lingering shame or fear that might still be holding you back. So stay with me, dear friend. Take another deep breath, place your hand gently on your heart, and know that you are on a beautiful path of discovery and healing. You are not alone, you are not broken, and you are not finished growing. Meet me in the next chapter, where we'll unlock the final keys to embracing nighttime pleasure as a source of vitality, confidence, and radiant well-being in the golden years of your life. Welcome back, my dear friend. I am truly grateful you've stayed with me through this intimate, courageous conversation. You've walked with me through tender emotional terrain, through the quiet truths and hidden questions many people never dare to voice out loud. And now, as we arrive at this final part, I want you to know, this isn't just about wrapping up a topic or ticking off a list of answers. This is about stepping fully into a new way of seeing yourself, of honoring your body, your needs, your pleasure, and your rest, with the love and respect you have always deserved. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Let your shoulders soften, let the tension melt away from your jaw. Feel the ground beneath you, steady and supportive, and remember, you are here. You are alive. You are still, beautifully, wonderfully, a sensual being. Now, you might be wondering, how do I take all these insights and turn them into something meaningful in my daily life? How do I balance the desire for nighttime pleasure with the need for deep, restorative rest? How do I honor my body's changing rhythms without falling into frustration or old patterns of guilt? Let's begin gently. The first, most important step is to listen to your body. Not to old habits, not to cultural messages, not to your inner critic, but to the quiet, wise signals your body is sending you right now. When do you feel naturally drawn to touch? When does your body ask for rest? Are you reaching for pleasure because it nourishes you, or because you're trying to fill an emptiness that needs a different kind of attention? There is no judgment here, only curiosity, only compassion. If you find that nighttime masturbation helps you relax, helps you feel more connected, helps you slip into sleep with a sense of calm and satisfaction, that is a beautiful gift. Treasure it. Allow it to be part of your evening routine with gratitude and mindfulness. Create a ritual around it, if you like. Dim the lights, play soft music, wrap yourself in a warm blanket, light a candle. Approach your body with tenderness, with presence, with the intention of caring for yourself, not just completing a task. If, on the other hand, you notice that nighttime pleasure leaves you feeling restless, overstimulated, or emotionally unsettled, that's worth paying attention to. It may be that your body needs a different approach, a different rhythm. Perhaps self-pleasure earlier in the day works better for you, giving your nervous system time to settle before bed. Perhaps exploring other forms of comfort, a warm bath, gentle stretching, soothing music, a heartfelt conversation, will meet your emotional needs more fully on certain nights. Remember, this is not about rules or prescriptions. This is about tuning in, listening deeply, and honoring what your body and heart are telling you. I want to share one final story with you, a story that has stayed with me for years. It's about Samuel, an 82-year-old man who had lived most of his life believing that his sensuality was something to be ashamed of, something to be hidden away or left behind in youth. When he finally opened up about his desires, his needs, his quiet longing for touch, even his own touch, it was as though a door opened inside him. We talked for a long time about how to embrace this part of himself, not as a guilty secret, but as a sacred practice of self-love. Over time, Samuel found that when he approached his nighttime self-pleasure with mindfulness, when he released the old shame and leaned into curiosity and kindness, something beautiful happened. He felt more alive, more confident, more at peace in his own skin. And, perhaps most surprisingly to him, he found that his sleep improved, his mood lifted, and his sense of vitality deepened. That, my friend, is what I want for you. Not just a better night's sleep, though that matters. Not just the pleasure of physical release, though that matters too. But the deep, sustaining sense of being at home in your own body, of claiming your sensuality as part of your lifelong vitality, of remembering that you are still, and always, worthy of joy. So as you move forward, I invite you to make a quiet commitment to yourself. Commit to treating your body with tenderness, to approaching your needs with honesty, to letting go of old guilt or fear that no longer serves you. Commit to exploring what truly nourishes you, what truly supports your health, your rest, your pleasure. And commit to embracing this chapter of your life not as a winding down, but as an opening up to deeper wisdom, to fuller self-expression, to radiant well-being. Aging is not a diminishing. It is an evolution, a transformation, a deepening into the essence of who you are. You are not less sensual, less vital, less deserving of pleasure because of your age. You are more. You are ripened, seasoned, enriched by all the years you have lived and all the love you have given and all the experiences you have gathered. And your body, your beautiful, resilient body, is still a vessel of joy, a source of connection, a home for your spirit. As we close this conversation, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for listening, for opening yourself to this journey. You are not alone. You are part of a community of people who are redefining what it means to age, who are claiming their right to health, to vitality, to intimacy, at every stage of life. If you found this conversation meaningful, if it sparked insights or feelings or questions in you, I warmly invite you to like this video, to share your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below, and to subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring these beautiful, important topics together. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And by sharing it, you help create a space where we can all support each other in living our fullest, most joyful lives. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Honor your body. Embrace your pleasure. And remember, you are not just aging, you are unfolding, evolving, becoming more deeply, gloriously, radiantly alive with each passing day. You are a gift to this world, and you deserve to live every moment of your life fully, passionately, and unapologetically. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to walk with you on the next part of this journey.